What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 14 of my Total War Warhammer 3, not Ungrim Iron Fist, but Malakai Makaisson Immortal Empires campaign, though Ungrim Iron Fist was the star of the show last episode as we confederated him and went immediately to work on the massive number of Orky armies surrounding Jarna Grund. I'm 99% sure the AI would have lost Jarna Grund if we had not confederated, and who were we to pass up such fantastic battles? That is only the beginning for the Slayer King, however, as we saw last time, the destruction of those armies only set the Greenskins back by... Did it even set them back? I don't remember if they went from first place to second place or whether they were always second place, but what I do know is this means that they have a lot more armies. Where that came from, we have another one with a full Wa here, as well as Grimgor, presumably still hanging around at the Falls of Doom. At least we have to assume so, or else we'd send King Lun over there, but we'll do so when it's a little bit safer. And Malakai's on the way down as well. In terms of what we gotta do this time, well, it's pretty obvious. Keep killing everything, everywhere, all the time, and see if we can rack up at least enough grudges to get ourselves to the sort of third level, the 50 to 74%, and actually get a buff rather than a debuff, because we still get the debuff in the form of the upkeep reduction for grudge settler units, and our confederation has given us a lot more of those grudge settlers. Anyway, let's get to moving, shall we? Malakai, I do believe you can go first. We do... Oh, you know what we can do first? There was a request to see what we still have to do in terms of Malakai's adventure, so we'll take a quick look at that, as it is part of our win condition, after all, and it would be nice to complete it all for completionists' sake. So the first adventure, Dragon's Bane, is entirely completed, and the second one, the Dreadquake Destruction, still has the Sistit the Black-Hearted, which is right here, where Malakai was about to move, army, and fight 5 battles against the Chaos Dwarfs, which should be easy enough to achieve. So this one will probably be done relatively shortly. Next up, we have the Goblin's Monstrosity, and the only part of this is missing is go after Mugga Scurry, a Goblin search party who is all the way south of Vlad. Probably going to take a little bit of a while to get there, but we'll get there eventually. Unfortunately, that's what gives us Vanguard deployment for Goblin Hewers. Maybe if we confederate Thorgrim, it'll be a little bit easier to deal. Next up, we haven't done the battle for it yet, but Vampire Slayer still has us fight 5 battles against various undead, fight specific vampire armies which are in vampiric territory or vampiric adjacent territory, and fight 4 battles in a region with at least 50 plus vampire corruption. This is going to be the most difficult one, simply because well, if Vlad gets wiped out, this is going to be, well, difficult to achieve. We'll have to probably go to where the drowned are, or maybe, I doubt that Manfred survived, so yeah, it'll probably have to be a Vampire Coast thing. Maybe Arcan. There's potential there as well, if he survived. Next up, we have the Anger of the Forest. Still have to fight Dodan, which we've been trying to get to for a while now, and 3 additional battles against the Wood Elves, which could be anywhere, but also have specific sort of little locations around here as well. Next, we have the Bloodletting one. This is the newest one, so kill a bunch of enemies with organ guns, easily achieved. Fight 5 battles in a region with chaotic wasteland climate. I guess technically while fighting Malice we will achieve this. Kill the Champion of Khorne, which is all the way up here, and then kill the various champions of the gods. I think we're going to have to send Grumbrindle to do it. He's the only one who's close to them, and he's already going to go after Narcissus, some portal pleasurer. Anyway, so Gromby, I guess this will be your job. Slay a champion of all the gods. And then last but not least, the Skaven Scheme, which we also still have to fight the battle. The very final one has us with a dilemma here, which is relatively far and below Mount Silverspear. We'll probably encounter Rictus or possibly Moors once we move down here. Fight 5 battles against the Skaven, easily achieved, and will probably be done shortly. Build another Thunder Barge. Oh, you better believe we'll be building another Thunder Barge. And then lastly, engage in a force that's all the way down here at Misty Mountain, the capital of Clan Moors. This is by far the furthest one, and the easiest way to achieve it would probably be to confederate Thoric and then move an army up there. So, hopefully. For now, we've got other things to do. So let's get doing. You know what? Let's do diplomacy first, because I wanted to check... Oh, Miss 909 wants defensive alliance. Okay, well, these aren't the things I wanted to check, but we can still take the alliances. Go for it. We do want some stuff from both of them. Why not? Give us money, have the military alliance, and I assume the Western Provinces still wants the same. Go for it. Do they want a military alliance now? Oh, that was the military alliance. Good. And good. Let's also check their outposts while we're at it. You, Carl, want us to kill Vlad. Yeah, sure. Accept. I don't know how long it'll take to go down here, but eventually. Vissenland, I take it you have... Yeah, you have something built in Nuln. We need another territory that is a little bit less likely to die. Unfortunately, Nuln is the only one that you have that has walls right now. You want us to build it up in Grenstad? It's not safe. The Bloody Hands are all over the damn place. And the Disciples of the Mar down there, they're pretty likely to kill you. I think we'll wait on your outpost, especially because if we take a look at Wissenberg, which is connected to Nuln, we can see that we can't actually build any landships or anything good out of here anyway, so it doesn't really serve. We do want to upgrade the outpost here, but that's not important right now. Ursan Revivalists have nothing. Ice Court have nothing. Fuheng, is it safe? Is it the safest place where we can build an outpost? No, Chiang's definitely not safe. Shrine of the Alchemist not safe. Bridge of Heaven, I'm gonna say no. Wily Village, Shiyama's Rest. Yeah, no, it looks like Fuheng is the only walled one. Alright, we'll build it there then. I want at the very least the first level of outpost, because there's some stuff we want from them. Middenland. We'll ignore you for now because you're not important, and the rest can be upgraded when we actually have money and aren't losing insane amounts of cash. Anyway, that was a lot of talk and then diplomatic admin. Malakai, it's time for you to move once more. How many levels have you gotten since we last saw you? 3. I guess we get you Mentor. Now, there's no way we'll get Lightning Strike, at least not with what we currently have, unless we want to skip some stuff. I still think we should get Blade Shield, though. And possibly Rune of Grimnir. Let's see, if we get 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, meaning we'd have to skip Ancestral Grudge, though frankly it's a waste of a point unless you're fighting Greenskins. Bandolier is completely irrelevant, and... Relentless is fine, but Malakai is always standing near his artillery pieces rather than moving out there. Yeah, he's a slayer, but he doesn't have to be in melee, even though his melee stats are decent. You know what, I'm going to hold on to his points for now. We could very well go for Lightning Strike should we desire to do it. Though at last we wouldn't be able to get Inquiring Mind, though I feel like Malakai should have that trait, or a Tinkerer trait. Is now Architect, isn't he? If anybody should give just a bunch of free bonus research to your faction, it's probably Malakai. Although maybe some of that research should have negative consequences as well. Anyway, Felix, you're missing Fleet-Footed and Devastating Charge. We'll take the charge, I guess, and get you the Mark of Hish. And just on the rare occasions that you get hit with those Spirit Leeches and the like, Gotrek, you can have Devastating Charge. You're already fast for a dwarf after all. Ulrika, level 30 now. Mentor, huh. Does Mentor do anything for legendary heroes, or is it that the legendary heroes count as all heroes and then they give you bonuses regardless? Well, I'm just gonna hope. We are missing a bunch of spells. We still want to get her to be fighty as well, though. That is a fact. Let's get Occam's Mindrazor, though, just in case the Slayer parts actually have to fight in melee, because they occasionally do. It's true. You can't deny. Anyway, Ancestral Grudge, Resolute, Relentless... none of those are particularly useful, but frankly, we've got all the really useful stuff in Alden's Engineer trait, so let's get your Resolute and... Rune of Grimnir. Somewhat likely you'll get hit by a ranged attack at some point. It's a possibility, guys. It's a possibility. It exists. Anyway, to the Chaos Dwarf Patrol. The heck? Wait. Do we have to... Huh? Oh, is this just marking the map for us, but we have to attack the army? Okay, well, whatever, we'll attack the army anyway. What do we have here? Black Dragon, a couple of Gorgons, Hellpit Abomination, a Mutalith Vortex Beast. Well, this is an interesting army. Infernal Guard, Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, Iron Demon, and the Skullcracker, and a Fireglaive. Huh. They have no chance, but it's an interesting army. Away we go. Alrighty, well, here we go. An interesting smattering of units that the enemies brought, but it is seem appropriate for a whatchamacallit, a patrol, a convoy, whatever, as they sort of rack up a smattering of different kinds of units. Anyway, the enemy's gonna move towards us while we fire upon them with our cannons, targeting a cannon at every single one of the enemy artillery pieces. We're also gonna try to cast those Zufbar 42 pounders, and it looks like I got the timing just about right to go right through those enemy units. And not too bad, past Ruinous. I guess it's present Ruinous for you guys, but finally past Ruinous did something right. Anyway, the enemies continue taking hits. That Gorgon doesn't look like it's going to reach our lines, as it is already wavering, and down to about 30% of its HP. A couple more hits will bring down the Skullcracker and the Iron Demon, exploding nearly simultaneously while the Gorgon tries to book it on out of there. And we switch targets to the enemy Black Dragon, who's taken quite a few more hits than the rest of the units have, and Gorgon takes a few more to the back, and by the looks of it, this thing will fall as well. He seems pretty upset about the whole thing. Can't even target him through the, I don't actually recall, I just want to watch him topple over. I'm not sure I recall ever seeing the Gorgon's death animation before. I know, wow, that is a dramatic fall. A very, very dramatic fall. Also, now I feel bad. But anyway, and oh, we got a sort of lava cavern with a bunch of crossings beneath it. That's a pretty cool map, actually. Anyway, as I was about to say, this battle is going quickly, and we separated our forces in two. Malakai with the Slayers and the Heroes guarding this one place, and by the looks of it, pretty darn successfully, as all the big boys have gone, whereas over here, the two airships or thunder barges and all four of our units of gyrocopters are ripping this other sort of blob apart. The reason that we've separated it in this manner is because this side, where our air units are, has absolutely no anti-air, where all the anti-air is on that side, and thus we have no need to be up close with them, with the air units. Air units have quickly obliterated another enemy Gorgon as well as a Hellpit Abomination, and are now working on bringing down that poor Mutalith Vortex Beast. The Vortex, the portal topples, and the Vortex Beast topples inside to disappear, like so many Tzeentch units have a tendency to do. Oh, I like how long the portal remains behind as well. Anyway, with that, with the Vortex Beast done, it looks like the enemy Lord will rout, having taken very little damage, and in fact plenty of HP were left on at least a few of those blunderbusses and fireglaives, but certainly not enough to get close to us and continue fighting. And we didn't even need to activate Grape Shot, though I think at this point we very well could have. Lovely. Lovely little fight on a pretty darn neat map, but the Darklands maps do have a tendency to be pretty darn neat as well, so, I mean, generally speaking. Alright, anyway, I don't... Ooh, there's a little collapsed train car, coal cart, whatever you call these things. Minecart, that's the way. Is it still called a train if it's a bunch of minecarts strung together? Is it a train of minecarts? Somebody knowledgeable in mining gear, please enlighten me. Oh, that's a pretty particular niche. Anyway, I was just taking a look at the map. We don't need to chase, but we will just a little bit, just in case this army survives, because it doesn't get teleported. Because we didn't get teleported to like a location with a quest via that circle. It's just sort of a sitting out here on the map, so who knows? Man, I certainly feel like the cannons are starting to bring down they're bringing down monsters in general better than I remember them bringing them down. I don't mean grape shot fire, I mean regular fire into single entities, as we separated the fire of all 4 cannons to fire simultaneously at the Skullcracker, the Iron Demon, I believe it was the Gorgon and the Black Dragon, or the Hell Pit, but no, and the Black Dragon. And all 4 of them died quite quickly, I would say. Well, obviously the Air Force ripped apart the other element of the enemy's army. Granted, the enemy didn't have a complete stack, so it was always going to be quite dangerous for them, but nonetheless, quite powerful. Anyway, we want the money, but yes, you know what, we'll take the money. We can heal up, we're fine here. And enemy killed in battle, student, more research, and Chaos Dwarfs destroyed, not really, but sure. And so I take it this isn't an actual thing. It's just, yeah, once again, it's just a marker. Do you have a student on you? Yeah, you do. All right, who doesn't have a student? Can Ulrika hold students? Yes, she can. Good. All right, you, go here. I just want to see if it does anything. Huh? Oh. Those were 2 separate things. So, all right, looks like we're getting another battle. And, ooh, they've got Death Shriekers, Dreadquakes, and Magmagons. That's a little better. That's a little better. All right, well, here we go again. Unexpectedly, but happily so.
The ship may have sunk, and the airship exploded, but bad luck doesn't come in threes.
Man, I always feel like the Dwarfs might be the loudest cheering faction pre-battle, or at the very least it does seem that they're pretty darn loud. Anyway, here we go, round 2. It's a little bit odd, perhaps, that that this enemy army was right beside the convoy army, like they were 2 beside each other, but hey, I'm not complaining. It just means more fights, and this one should be quite a bit more difficult than the other. Now, the enemy does have Dreadquakes, 2 of them, as well as a magma cannon. We need to be careful, be wary of those firing into our artillery or into our slayers. Definitely don't want to lose those 9th rank, 9th chevron artillery pieces. They've grown quite valuable at this point in time, and oh my, 949 missile strength. Is it because... let's see, Artillery Master, the Eyes of Grungni. I guess it's just a bunch of buffs, because when you read their DPS, or their damage rather, and just on the map itself, I guess the Artillery Master giving plus 10, and, I thought it said about 600 for these guys, so it's a little bit interesting or odd that they have 1,000 per, which is pretty insane in the first place. Maybe something isn't stacking quite right, and they're hitting a little bit too hard. Well, sorry to the magma cannon, it was the first to fall either way, and now we have to focus down those Dreadquakes. The cannons are outranging them, and we'll pop the first one, though it does look like the second one is hidden behind the trees, which may be a concern for us. Also, I kind of like the yellow color scheme on these guys. Makes it all very nice and visible. Yeah. I think the purple doesn't work so well with them. A little bit gaudy between the yellow and the purple, but the yellow by itself is reasonably nice. little bit sickly. If anything, maybe these guys should be ones, the Chaos Dwarfs that join Nurgle, like as our Doombolt in the Tamarkan campaign. But anyway, here we go. It looks like the enemy is sufficiently annoyed to be heading towards us. Unlike usual, we somewhat separated our air force as the enemy has a lot of anti-air defenses. Cannons will continue to fire while our gyrocopters try to move around and hit the enemy in the flank, while our two battle barges, or thunder barges rather, are going to go on the leftmost flank as well. We gotta pay attention to the fact that the enemy has 4 Tauruses, Bale and the Great, and I would imagine they would be fairly threatening to the thunder barges. We also have the Dreadquake firing. Gotta love those shooting star-like projectiles as they arc on over, but of course they're not really a threat to the thunder barges, and as long as they're firing at them, they're wasting their shots, not on our main army. Our artillery support continues coming down. It's missing plenty of shots on the Great Tauruses, or the Tauruses in general, I guess, despite the extremely high accuracy buffs we have on them. But now it's time to switch to the second Dreadquake. It is in the tree line, so plenty of shots will probably be blocked, but not enough, as all 4 artillery pieces firing on that thing will bring it down and end the other biggest threat. Here, there is still a Death Shrieker rocket launcher, which we can hopefully gun down before it fires too many shots, but our gyrocopters have moved on in the background and have been joined by the Spirit of Grungni as well, as we can always separate the gyrocopters and summon the Spirit to join them, rather than having them necessarily escort and the other 2 battle barges. Anyway, the Great Taurus books it on out of there, and the Bale Taurus is shaken, and a few more shots from those gyrocopters, assuming they don't, gyro bombers rather, assuming they don't bring the Spirit of Grungni down, we'll send the Bale Taurus going as well. Alright, now the battle is going a little bit more in our favor. The cannon fire continues supporting against these Tauruses, and I believe we fired a couple of harpoons at them as well. Plus the cannon fire will hopefully see them off before they annoy our 2 thunder barges. Beautiful. Now the enemy army is getting pelted by artillery from the front, and they've got battle barges and thunder barges. Damn it. Thunder barges coming in. Though it looks like we are starting to take shots as well. Fire glaives are pretty dangerous to these things, so we're going to activate both of their thunder burners, unless they get too badly damaged. Yeah, we see this thing's already lost 30% of its HP. Can't be letting them fire anymore. I wonder how much damage it would have been if it had been blunderbusses rather than fire glaives firing at them. A volley from those blunderbusses can be just ridiculously devastating. Anyway, the Spirit of Grungni has arrived. We're going to drop a Pit of Shades just to clip a single unit of Infernal Guard here, but otherwise it's looking pretty okay. Our Slayers are moving in, as well as Gotrek and Felix, to try to see off those Bull Centaur renders before they charge anything, but it looks like we managed to rip them apart with cannon and Slayer fire before they did. More volleys into the Spirit of Grungni, and it's dropped nearly 50% of its HP from a couple of shots from those infernal fire glaives. And while when an enemy has no anti-air at all, the gyro bombers and copters and thunder barges are absolutely devastating. They are still big old flying targets, and just like any big monster, they can go down very, very quickly. Oh, I never noticed that there were I never noticed there were Slayer pirates up on top there. Wow, I should have taken a better look. Just chucking grenades down from there. That's fantastic. I really never noticed that. I to be fair, I never really had cause to look up on top of the airship, but damn. That'll learn you, Ruinous. Very nice, very nice. Just enjoying seeing them check a few of those grenades. Anyway, with that, it looks like the enemy army will shatter, being attacked from so many sides at once. You two maybe don't bonk into each other. Though fortunately that doesn't cause any damage. Imagine if it did though, like if collisions between airships and other aerial units would just cause direct damage to each other. And I mean friendly units as well. On the other hand, one of the, well, I mean, I suppose there's not enough airships in this particular game to warrant such a function, but ramming speed would just be fantastic. Want to see one of these things just to ram another ship down. Although that would be lovely. But anyway, a very nice little fight. We did manage to avoid the damage from those very threatening Chaos Dwarf artillery with our superior cannon fire, and then obliterate the army with our air force as well, as the rest of our units moving in afterwards. Though, of course, we did take a lot more damage to the Thunder Barges than we, I think, ever have. Alright, there we go. Very nice, very nice. We had to play that one a little bit more carefully than the previous one, however, as we saw a single volley from one unit of Fireglaves eats off about 20% of the HP of a Thunder Barge. They can go down very, very quickly under fire from certain units if you're not careful. So, yeah, definitely we gotta watch out for those. Otherwise, we were fine. Just could use those emergency repairs upgrades for the barges. Anyway, we're not gonna bother healing. We'll take the money once again, and I do believe the army should be destroyed. Yeah, okay. You kind of just sat still. Why did Grimbrindle get the powder maker? Runesmith apprentice, sure, another student, yes. Stonemason, everybody gets a stonemason, and more stonemason, and another mission successful. Malakai, I'm gonna want you to move here, near to Great Skull Lakes, where the rats are currently located, and though it's going to cost us insane amounts of cash, we're going to temporarily summon yet another lord. I'm gonna say... I was going to use Zamnil to recruit a new army, but I guess we can't afford one right now anyway. So Zamnil, we're going to temporarily summon you, sir.
Summon me if you dare.
Did he just say summon me if you dare as soon as I summoned him? Well, I was gonna, but now I'm not. But anyway, we'll have him take the Great Skull Lake so that we don't have to waste Malakai's movement, as he might be able to go all the way to Fort Dorjny Vort and then take both in a single turn thereafter, moving southward to the Falls of Doom. Nice. Architect Zufbarden. Okay, let's do a little bit of admin, and actually before we do, engagement threshold was reached and the hour-long episode will... But this will be an hour-long episode, yes. And it still stands at 250 likes and 40 comments for the next hour-long. Anyway, Toolmaker's Workshop and Mason for pennies. And I guess we'll build another refectory here. Honestly, every province should have all beer halls all the time. Sarl Encampment, we can build or upgrade the beer hall there. I assume we don't need to build anything at Bay of Blades, at least until we destroy that guard hall, but only when the Fecondites have been destroyed. Then we're going to move southward towards the Tower of Crack. It will be upgraded in 3 turns, which will take, well, I guess we could have moved to the Forbidden Citadel first. Yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have gone to the Forbidden Citadel, upgraded it here, and then jumped down to the Tower of Crack. And then jump back up to the Forbidden Citadel and onto the Altar of Spawns. But it's not a big deal. It's going to cost us like a turn or two. At the end of the day, it's only 2 turns. Okay, it's going to cost us a single turn. No problem at all. Anyway, Stotchel. You, I believe we're going after Siggy, and go after Siggy you shall. Ooh, 1% movement remaining. Is he even going to fight this? He's not. He's not going to fight this. Yeah, his army's too weak. Yeah, he's too much of a coward. Damn it, Siggy. And, oh, wow, he went so far off of that. I guess he can run real quick, even at sea. We're gonna pop ourselves into full speed stance. Maybe he'll jump on it because of the vigor, but I fear that he won't. Man, I don't want to chase him around for 8 years. On the other hand, chasing him around may not necessarily be the worst thing in the world, because... Grog Painbringer, kill. Because we still have Snorri Granite Hand up here, and Snorri can just take his provinces while Sigvald runs. He's not using his main stack, fine. Oh, we can reach this guy, swell. Ooh, it'll cost us to summon attrition. Summon attrition, suffer attrition. Alright, we're not fighting. I know, it'll give us more damage than we would have liked, but whatever. We can heal up. We have Dragon Slayers in this army. Oh, and in fact, we can heal basically to full with attract replacements. Fan-frickin-tastic. Love it. And we got Perfect Vigor as well from the Seasoned Campaigner buff. Beautiful. Well done, Snorri. You know what? Wait. This seems to be taking away our movement. Alright, fine. Go to the Silver Tower. Start moving towards it. Why is he trying to cross here instead of here where the bridge is? What the heck is this? Look at this. Is he actually trying to ford the water? Will that kill off all of his movement range? This looks strange. Well, whatever. Maybe these bridges aren't actually functional and it doesn't actually reduce our movement range anyway. Oh, wait, also. Yeah, no, this is bugged. That's fine. It's fine, not a big deal. He'll suffer a little bit of attrition and be on his merry way. King Lun. I was gonna send you probably around Grimgore to the Vale of Woe because you still need to ferry the Slayers to Ungrim. However, we need to make sure that we catch Micah or Mika or whatever this is. So we're gonna pop you into ambush stance right here. And we're gonna hope that we can catch this army. And destroy it for good. Plus, I suppose we need to transfer the Hammerers here to you anyway. And I guess what we could do is we could transfer all the Slayers and then have Norgrim move back towards Callan to ferry some more units around. I guess that's the way we do it. Alright. Kind of salty about Sigvald running, but oh damn, I was gonna not auto-resolve this. Alright, fine, we'll level up and I'm gonna auto-resolve it anyway. Okay, well. Also, you can only have one of these, right? You can only use either hardened armor or sharpened weapons. Not 100% on it. Do we need to reset your skills? We don't. Well, either way, you're gonna get the Rune of Hearth and Home. Get that area vigor buff and whatever else it offers, immunity to psychology, eh? That might be useful for certain units. Not so much in the Slayer army, mind you, but nonetheless. Ulfar Redmane Dragon Slayer. I guess we want to go through your unique tree now. You have replenished troops maxed out, and that's the other critical thing. Weapon strength and fighting, everything but greenskins, apparently. I guess we'll get Army of One, Slayer of Many for the fear and for the passive ability for when enemies cause terror. Why not? And the Thane. You have Keeper of the Gate for when you join the Hammerer army. I would like to get Revered Thane for those free glittering scales. It's always nice to have. On the other hand, Foe Seeker will give you a speed buff should you need to get into combat. I think we go for this Foe Seeker first and then move into Revered Thane ASAP. I guess you are going to need skill points used as well. You can have Forge Fire. Yeah, Invoke Ruins of Grungni is fine. This magical imbuement will give you magical attacks. I'm still inclined to say go Forge Fire first. The reduction of enemy armor is good for the regular Slayers, which lack armor piercing. You can keep going through Deadeye into Ballistics. Oh, right, I wasn't sure what exactly we were gonna do with you. Yeah, but nonetheless, we're probably going to put you into range army, and if we put you in a range army, you'll get ballistics calibration. I mean, otherwise the triangulation is wasted, and there's a decent chance we might reset you as well, so whatever. The other thing, I guess you can just double up on hard to hit, and that's it. Alright, quickly auto-resolve this. We've got places to be. Oh, let's hope this doesn't rip our poor dwarf warriors apart. Let's find out. And it's not horrible. 29 dwarf warriors lost. Way too many, but not horrible. And another student. Getting tons of students. Wait, is it giving us students again because we are? I guess it's because we finished a tech and not because we are actually not having a research thing done the way it used to be. I believe somebody said that it was fixed. Ranked up on same term as researching a technology. We're definitely. Oh, as in completed researching a technology. I assume that's what's happening here. Anyway, we'll pick the technology later. We got more fights on our hands, or at least fight in this case. Cobalt, move on in. I guess we got another point for the Master Engineer. We'll be able to get to that ballistics calibration. I guess the Goblin Heroes can fire a little faster. And the Thane, you can get Fell-Handed Warrior, as we were just talking about, Ungrim, and back to the battle. Well, we got 2.5 stacks here. Something about that size? Yeah. Lots and lots of gobos and orcs, though. They are not super relevant. But we are damaged, and we gotta keep that in mind. Nonetheless, seems like another fun battle. Ungrim, he's slain many an orc and gobo already, and he's gonna slay more.
Are you with me, lads? Charge for your king! Charge!
Alright, we'll charge, but in a little bit. We do have reinforcements arriving on the field, and I'm going to speed it up to allow them to move in, though it looks like at least a few of the orcs are going to book it towards us. Though I want to point out, in a rather weird and roundabout manner, I don't know what the heck this is supposed to be. What the heck is the AI doing here? It's got reinforcements arriving over here. Usually it will wait for them, kind of like Malus did last episode and got his entire army obliterated. Oh wait, that was in the... That was in the other campaign. That was in the Elspeth campaign. It's still entertaining. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know why the AI decided to do this or what the heck this is supposed to be, but, well, that's what we're dealing with. And it looks like they may be moving their army in piecemeal as a trickle towards Ungrim and the rest of the units here, but, well, what can you do? I believe that's an itchy nuisance coming down on us in combination with the smoke bomb. The speed reduction we don't really care about. Though, man, smoke bomb on dwarfs, which are already slow, is just real nasty. Not that pretty much any faction really needs it, considering how slow they move, but nonetheless. Anyway, Ungrim right in the middle of that pile of gobos, whacking away with his axe and sending dozens flying with every swing. But trying to actually break through it in order to head towards the big target here. There is an Arachnarok, and I believe there's a Black Orc Big Boss running around somewhere in here. There he is. That Ungrim wants to play with. The Arachnarok moves in and sends a bunch of the Dwarf Warriors flying and casts Itchy Nuisance yet again. We're massively reducing our melee attack, and in combination with the Helm of Discord, reducing the melee attack of all of our warriors at least, down to 0. I mean, it's not like they had a particularly high attack in the first place. We can see in the background a rune of immolation come down right in the middle of this blob of units, so it looks like for some reason it was a Gabo archer unit. We are also going to try to peel away at least a few of our dwarf warriors and the slayer units for backup, or the pirate slayers, slayer pirates, whatever. Slayer pirates can be pirate slayers if they slay some pirates. Well, really, Slayer pirates can be anything slayers, but anyway. As long as they find the things to slay. Dwarf Warriors facing off against some Orc Boys. Classic little matchup here, though I like our color scheme a lot more because it's once again much more nice and visible here. So another Dwarf Warriors have peeled away, but this one in not such a great position as some of the enemy units are finding their range and are able to shoot them in the back here. So we're going to turn them a little bit, ignoring the Gobos as much as we can, or at least the Gabo spears, and heading towards the Gabo archers, though by the looks of it we get charged by a unit of boar boys for our trouble, as well as another unit of pump wagons. The pump wagons are going to be the focus, rather, of our units of slayer pirates, as they should have fairly high damage on those pistols and should be able to bring the fragile pump wagons down quite well. Quite better, I would suggest, than the melee troops can. A, because the dwarf warriors are quite weak, and B, because the pump wagons have some annoying animations when they're locked in melee, and they're quite difficult to trap. Surprisingly so, considering for how cheap the unit is. Anyway, we've moved more units into support. Sorry about the dropped frames this time, guys. The game's stuttering a little bit, but it tends to happen to my PC, especially on these maps with lots and lots of units at once. And it's the PC's getting on in years after all. Anyway, down here in a blob of slayers which have joined Ungrim in battle, we have finally brought down the enemy goblin great shaman and the Arachnarok. Ragnarok. That was its mount. More units are moving in from the enemy, once again still in a trickle, but thus we are not committing all of our forces at once and sort of just responding to the enemy army piecemeal. The Grumbling Guard and the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers have both moved in now. Norgrimling's trying to get a few tosses of those charges out before they enter the fray in full. It's getting a little bit difficult to appropriately target an enemy that wouldn't mean tossing charges at our own units. And not to worry though, I'm sure the Grumbling Guard here will do plenty of work, even with the Norgrimlings busy trying to get a firing solution. And there we go, gonna get a few tosses into some orc boys. Not as many as we'd like perhaps, but we're still getting fire support from the Quarrelers and from the Slayers in the background, so that's just fine. At least some kind of missiles are making it in there. Ungrim's trying to move towards that Black Orc big boss in the middle of the fray here, although at this point our units are just being blocked up by a couple of units of orcs, and we need to bring them down so that we can get out of that forest and join the fray before too many of our regular dwarf warriors are damaged. That said, I'm still going to delete the second army full of dwarf warriors. Of course, we can't really afford it right now. It's just that for now they remain useful, at least for a few turns, while we sort of create a buffer zone around Jarnagrund. We're going to need to hold on to them. The buffer zone I'm envisioning would be a few territories that we don't necessarily invest in and that we don't care about, so that we can see enemy armies coming. After all, they will be using that underway stance, and we're really going to need to react to all the armies that Grimgor has. Anyway, Slayers and Dwarf Warriors alike chasing off Orc Boys and re-establishing new battle lines. The enemy continues to trickle in, and there are still 40 units on the screen. Damn, this was a lot of orcs. Just gotta wait until at least a few of them move off. We have taken a little bit of damage ourselves. The Slayer Pirates in particular were the focus of a lot of enemy range units, so we can see that they've dropped down to about 30, maybe 25%-ish of their HP, and we'll be using these fast-moving but damaged Slayer Pirates to hunt down enemy units. Ungrim's also trying to hunt, and given chase to that Black Orc big boss, brings him down despite the fact that he was on his boar, probably reduced in speed and due to trying to move through that forest, which worked out quite well for us. Anyway, it looks like the orcs over on sort of this ramp, this left side of the map, are done for, or at the very least have given up. And we are now moving towards the others. Well, it looks like some river trolls are trying to charge us. We're going to try to get a few volleys of axes at them with our goblin hewers, and they will make it towards us, but we'll lose about half their HP. And by the looks of it, are struggling with their morale, and will struggle even further as our other Slayer units, the regular Slayers, move on in. Very nice. Bail those goblin hewers out, though they can take care of themselves in melee. We still want to preserve them. Well, they can take care of themselves in that they can do damage, but they're still Slayer units and they're still going to be quite fragile. Anyway, time to overrun those river trolls, but we've got the Dwarf Tide moving in to sort of intercept the incoming reinforcements. And once again, the enemy continues to trickle in. And they just won't stop, eh? 9 minutes straight so far. I mean, I'm very surprised. I really wonder how this battle would have looked if the enemy had been forced, or actually just done it itself, to blob up or form lines and get a formation going with the rest of their units, rather than the way that it decided to fight here, which was really weird. And what I was banking on was that the enemy would do that, and by virtue of them all being together, get horrifically blobbed up, and then we'd get a lot of hits on them with our goblin hewers right into the biggest blobs of enemies, and same with our runes of immolation and hammer of Smednir. However, since that didn't happen, we really didn't get nearly as much use out of either of those two things as we were expecting. We do have other runes to rely upon, though. A rune of speed comes down, giving 24 melee attack to everybody here, and Ungrim once again moves to lead the sort of main portion of his force to hunt down these river trolls and orc boys before moving to where the enemy is now thickest. Alright, we can peel away. Looks like, enemy's still casting, meaning they have, there's an orc shaman running around here, popping that brain burst, Alright, well, we're going to try to get out. There's 2 orc shamans. Okay, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to try to get Ungrim to hunt them down as best we can while we continue moving forward. Although it looks like these river trolls, another unit of river trolls, are about to be joined by a unit of black orcs, which are very much a threat to the Norgrimlings Ironbreakers due to the heavy damage they deal. And the Norgrimlings might also struggle with the enemy trolls. They probably wouldn't die to them quickly, but at the same time, they would have a difficult time bringing the river trolls down. Gotta love the armor on the Norgrimlings, though. Looks pretty fantastic. Anyway, where are those black orcs? They moving in, or are they already here? Oh, there they are. And yep, okay, they are where this dwarf warrior unit has been absolutely ripped apart. Hey, go figure. I mean, dwarf warriors versus black orcs, it's not a good matchup, but not to worry. And there is not that many of them, and we have, if not quite yet, the numbers we will. And Ungrim can also help out with with these important targets. Although he still wants to kill off those shamans first. Looks like a Wa activates, and it is the standard Wa, so it doesn't have the massive damage that Grimgor's has, though it's still quite a lot of damage and immunity to psychology. And it doesn't have the healing that the Wa of the Broken Axe has. Alright, nice little sort of a forest skirmish we've got going on here as we continue to try to press the enemy from every direction. The battle has grown quite a bit more sort of separated. Our damaged units are hunting enemies to make sure that they don't rally, though generally speaking, relatively slowly. Our goblin hewers have run out of ammunition and have joined the fray as well, and are either chasing down goblins or heading towards archers and things like that. Our grumbling guard are standing strong at about 50% HP. Well, strong, but pretty much everybody's at 50% HP at this point, just due to the sheer number of enemies that we're facing. And of course the fact that most of our army is made up of regular dwarf warriors. Can't forget that. They may not be as fragile as the basic units of most factions, but they're still fairly fragile. And there we go, finally getting some nice use out of that Rune of Immolation, smashing into those black orcs and dishing out decent damage to them, I would think. And in fact, by the looks of it, forcing them and the rest of their army to finally rout it. Another Rune of Immolation comes in, and the black orcs will lead the rout away. And the battle is ours. Took a little bit of effort once again, and we certainly took some damage, but it's another stack and a Wa and a settlement, all wiped out by Ungrim. He's certainly coming in strong with his confederation. I'm excited to see the other confederations and what they will bring us as well. Man, that definitely felt like one of the strangest battles I remember fighting, especially in recent times. This is just conjecture, but it feels like what the AI did there was it was using the minor settlement AI. At least that's what it felt like. You know how in minor settlements oftentimes, the AI kind of acts like a complete coward, and rather than actually fight you within choke points and stuff, it keeps backing off. You're slowly decimating troops that you can reach with range units, and they just keep backing off. It's kind of what was happening here, where it felt like almost like the enemy didn't want to fight, instead of using those massive numbers of theirs to envelop our army from every side, especially since we played nice and walked right into the center of the map once it became apparent that the AI didn't want to to move towards our nice defensive position. But oh well, what can you do? Still got some very nice shots and some nice work for a lot of our units. Nearly 30k damage on the Norgrimlings, hardly surprising. 20k damage on the Grudge Settlers Slayers. Grumbling Guard did plenty. Regular Slayers, I mean, everybody looks like they put in some work. Even a lot of the regular Dwarf Warriors. It'll be sad once we inevitably have to delete you. We're gonna occupy the place. Get a little bit in the way of grudges. Another stonemason. Gotta have a stonemason on everybody. And another Slayer Ward. Why weren't we generating any Slayer Wards ourselves throughout the entire game? And now we suddenly very much are. I have no freaking clue. Would have been nice. And, could build more Goblin Heroes here if we wanted to. What can we actually recruit here other than Slayers? Yeah. For Goblin Heroes, we could actually make this army a lot stronger just to function as an actual army if we put it into Jarnagrund and then just build them a bunch of cannons. The Dwarf Warriors can hold the line while the cannons do all the damage. And just as a temporary measure while we try to deal with all the million armies that that Grimgor had. Once again, if last episode destroying 5 armies moved his strength ranking by 1, I worry about how many armies he might have out here. Who else is he? Oh, right. I guess he pretty much destroyed the... Well, between him and Karak Kadrin, it looks like the Chaos Dwarfs were absolutely crushed, and that includes the Conclave. Zatan is still alive up here. In fact, he's sitting around right here trying to attack Dragon Gate. Interesting. Nonetheless, that, I believe, is that in terms of... Lads in move in march stance, eh? We wouldn't be able to back off if we attacked him here, and... Well, we have 1 artillery piece. How would we bring down the Mortis Engine and the Vargulf and Vlad and Isabella, though, with this army? Only if we get really lucky with them taking a bunch of volleys with these guys. I think I'd rather not risk it, especially if this army sacks this and then is unable to return to Karak-Kadrin, and there's another full stack here, which there very well might be. This army potentially gets destroyed, and then Karak-Kadrin has to take sieges. We'll wait. We're not going to build any additional troops because we can't afford them, but we... I'm tempted to build more Goblin Heroes here just because this is sort of probably going to be a temporary army. I still did want to build an all-gun army with Thunderers and Grudge Rakers, and possibly some Slayer parts to act as melee. And I really also wanted to try to build an army with, like, 15 Goblin Hewers, and then just a bunch of engineers to give them ammunition and stuff. If only we can increase their range somehow, that would make them a lot more viable. But anyway, just a thought. We will hopefully get to try that out. Anyway, looks like we can finally pick our tech. I've been waiting on that one. I believe the thing we were going to do was this. Superior Black Powder. We want the additional range for Thunderers and Slayer Pirates from this, and the additional range for Thunderer and Slayer Pirates from the next thing. 20% is nice. And then that'll lead us to upkeep reduction for all those units, and considering we're using a lot of Slayer Pirates as our base troops, it's pretty decent. I'm doing the same thing as I tend to do with Empire and building just obnoxious amounts of Free Company Militia in the early game, though we're well into the mid-game now. Well, they can still work, especially since we have Karak-Kadrin. Anyway, what do we do? Unassigned skill points build... Oh, right, we need to double check if there's anything to build where we're not going to send the constructor/architect corps. We are going to move to Krakadrak. Ooh, by the time we get here, it'll be upgradable to tier 5, which means we have to get here anyway, which means we can upgrade the Toolmaker's Foundry. What we will also want to do is build a Silver Hall here for cheap. For very, very cheap. Silver Pinnacle. We have to wait on those sealed tombs. We'll probably start it once these armies are good. Also, how long until the Peak Gate Guard? They definitely want to join this army. 5 turns. Alright, that's fine. We could maybe use King Lund to defend the sword, depending on what we do with Norgrim, and, well, once we sort of swap out a bunch of these units. There's still admin to do army-wise, at the very least. Anyway, I'll think about it. We'll leave that construction slot there for that particular purpose. Kazid Irkulaz. I don't think we're going to bother with the Runic Gate, at least not at the current time. Could build a stonebread bakery for additional growth. It could use more otherwise. Yeah, since we don't have a bakery in either Ungor or Raziak, could be worth our time. Hold off on the feast hall. At least here. Carrick Doom, which was going to be our Oathgold province. Yeah, let's start building all the Oathgold buildings here. Yes, we need to be careful about going into bankruptcy. But we need at least a few provinces generating massive amounts of Oathgold. Otherwise, we'll never get to all the items for all the lords and heroes we're acquiring. It's just too many. I guess Trinket Maker at Grand Peak, we could actually use the pastures here, but I'm disinclined to delete anything. Fallen King Mountain... Our factory for now. Unlikely anybody will move up through this way and attack us here, though funnily enough, maybe I should have kept the mustering hall there for additional Thane capacity. Nashrak's Lair, go for Trinket Maker as well. Mostly for the construction reduction, we can upgrade the Trinket Makers that we do have. It's, well, it's a little bit too far for the Engineer Corps. Obsidian Sculptor. Yeah, fine. I'm just wondering what's the likelihood of Jarnagrund surviving? Well, I'm just going to bet that we can keep it alive. Just in case, I think for now we'll build the watch room at Fort Dwarslav, because it could happen that either rats or more Grimgor stuff moves over this way, and we gotta be prepared for it. Help it we don't care about. Uskalek. I mean, I guess you're kind of in the same position. That you may want to temporarily at least build a gate so that you're going to do so. Tower of Torment will still be traded, and the Shard Lands, the Fortress of the Damned, will either rebel or be traded, so irrelevant to us. Alright, we're down to 38k and losing 6k per turn. Of course, we do have a couple of extra lords that need to be deleted, but it'll be a bit of time before we can do that. Our supply lines are looking pretty crazy. I am, however... let's see. There was an Ancestral Blood Grungni... Runesmith here, 350 for those guys, eh? Dragon Slayers are the best ones because they're really cheap. 175. So if we get another Dragon Slayer that can act as a constructor, we very well may want to use them. I just want to double check. You're not... Yeah, you're an Ancestral Blood Grungni. And I'm tempted to get you... Okay, you know what? You can lose this Armor Fortune. We can use you as a constructor in these territories, and just without an army, so that we don't rely on a... Yeah, there's another one here, so that we don't have to rely on a specific army to do that, and thus screw ourselves over the supply lines. Anyway, double check diplomacy again. I think I did already, but, you know, has to be done a million times. Clan Ferric really wants peace, that's not going to happen. Decadent Host now wants peace. Middenland wants some military alliance. Is there a war that they could potentially get us into that wouldn't be great? I mean, funnily enough, they're not at war with the Barrow Legion, but it's not like we really care if they were. How much money would you give us for this? 0.7k. You know, I'm going to save that just in case. There may be something that we want from them. Especially since they don't have a capital territory, and without a capital territory, they basically have nothing that we might potentially want. I guess maybe Outriders with grenade launchers would work with some armies. I'll think about it, but anyway, building upgrade available, outpost upgrade available. We'll hold up on those damaged buildings, outposts, end turn. And let's see if I miscalculated anywhere and we're out of range. Or we're in range of an enemy. Ungrim looks to be pretty safe, though perhaps the orcs have learned their lesson and that they don't want to attack him. You want us to join war against the Barrow Legion? No, but they very well conquered Bretonnia together with the Broken Axe. I suppose if we confederate Angrand, we can send a few ghost pals that way. Ally begins outpost construction. Great. Aghole destroyed, irrelevant to us. And aha! Mika, you're screwed. Range for Thunderers and Slayer Pirates, and we'll get more of that in a second. King Lun. You can auto-resolve this, right? It's garbage. You just auto-resolve it. I was gonna run. That's cute. We have to move these armies together anyway, so that's fine. You can leech XP then. Go leech XP. Like so.
Summon me if you dare.
And construction cost minus 15, yes, from the heroes mostly. You're not Grungni as well, are you? No, you're a strategist. Oh, I don't like strategists. I mean, it's fine, but we could do better. Not that there's anything wrong with additional movement range, mind you. Alright, then, with that done, we will drink to victory. Basically never do that, so why not now? Enemy killed in battle, Malakai's adventure successful. Ooh, we completed one of the Skaven ones, didn't we? Now what are we looking at? Still have to do this one, but it's heckin' far to the south near Karazakarek. This one we've barely begun, so that'll be a while, and this is the Wood Elf ones. So gotta kill off a bunch of enemies with organ guns. At least the Skaven one is on the way. Really gotta do this dilemma, though. Which wasn't so damn far, because it gives us flaming cannon ammunition for thunder barges, which, funnily enough, if we really wanted to, would mean we could put a thunder barge in the fire army, because it would also then do fire damage, wouldn't it? Certainly a thought. Anyway, what we want to do here is this. King Lun, you are going to take all the hammerers. I would like to deliver the Iron Drake Grudge Settlers to Mr... Yeah, wait. The Thane is a constructor Thane, so you can take him back. I would like to deliver the Iron Drake Grudge Settlers to Grimbrindle. Goblin Hewers, Slayer Pirates. I think we have enough Goblin Hewers and Slayer Pirates here. 18 out of 20, eh? Don't think we need any of this. Grudge Throwers would be nice. Little Flame Cannon, Grudge Settlers. I wish these weren't so far. Oh, you know what? If we unlock the Underway, we might be able to transfer them over to our Fire Army. And Gyrocopters with Grudge Settler Troll Hammers. Huh. I mean, I guess this might be better on an army that would, On the other hand, could give it to Grimbrindle as well. The question is, are we going to send King Lun up there to... You know what? We're probably not. So we'll take the Iron Drakes from him, and we'll have somebody else ferry stuff over to Grimbrindle. Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. And we're at 17 out of 20. We cannot transfer because an army can have a maximum of 3 units. What? I don't know what that means. Oh, it's these ones. It's the Grudge... I thought it was 5. Is it 3? Is it actually 3? Huh, wait. Oh, it is 3. Go figure. Wait. A moment.
Let us begin.
You have 4. How do you have 4? Did they reduce it from 3 to 5? Is it based on this in some way? Wait, let me take another Lord.
Summon me if you dare.
1 out of 3. I didn't notice that. Okay, I gotta read the patch notes more thoroughly. Because you definitely had 5 at it. You definitely could have had 5. Nothing says about reduction here, unless it's part of the technologies, maybe. All right, I'm just gonna take a look at the patch notes later on. Shame that we have to keep the Grudge Settler Iron Drake in this army, considering we have to ferry it over. But well, I guess what can you do? I'm not deleting any of these, that's for sure. You, sir, I want to move back the way you came, and we will build this. But we will not do it now. King Lun, you have to move over here, transfer the Slayers, and then get at least 1 more Hammerer from this guy. I mean, I guess it might be faster to build a Hammerer, but I don't want it right now. Can you... Oh, we can't even build Hammerers from the Spirit of Grungni anyway, so... Yeah. Anyway, speaking of the Spirit of Grungni, Zamnil, go here. Kill this. He could do it by himself. We didn't even need the Spirit of Grungni for this. Auto-resolve, more XP for you, sir. Oh, wow. 8... Okay, that's probably the auto-resolve being silly. Yeah, they would have had a tough time penetrating his armor, but he most likely would have shattered unless we gave him an unbreakable rune. But it's still funny. That's still funny. We're definitely going to have to use you as an army now. 95,000 damage and 1,800 kills. Hilarious. I mean, otherwise we would have just moved Malakai in anyway. Because normally if the auto-resolve is in my favor and it feels cheaty, then I don't allow it, but occupy. Since Malakai was here anyway, and we basically summoned this guy to do that, but with Malakai helping out. Malakai, go to Fort Dorjny Vort, and that should knock out the Skaven. Oh wait, no it shouldn't. Kill this. No damage, occupy. They have 1 territory, right? It's Frozen Landing. One territory up, frozen landing. Well, Grimbrindle, you're going to have to make a little bit of a detour on your way to kill Narcissum to take the frozen landing. This is actually not a great place for them to be, because they could retake one of these positions, which we most definitely don't want. And Mizorna's school is now ours. Empower the guilds, of course, and I guess we'll build pastures and barley and trinket maker. We'll have to decide on a territory where we probably won't make a crazy amount of money, where we'll want to build the Oath Gold things. I feel like the better places to build Oath Gold things are the tier 2, or the 2 settlement places rather than the 3 and 4 ones. Because we can make more money out of the 3 and 4 ones by popping High King's Tribute there. Though I suppose that also gives additional Oath Gold as well. Or we could just get like 2 or 3 provinces that just make nothing but Oath Gold. Anyway. And so, future considerations. Architects of Pardon. Let's get some building going. Okay, we need to pop you in a place where you are in Tower of Crack. And, oh, are you unable to reach it? This is all Bay of Blades? Oh, damn. Wait. Aha, better. Go to the Tower of Crack right here. And I'm going to really hope... Dwarfhold is free, fantastic. Next turn we can do that and still jump over here. I'm really hoping you have the range to jump to the Forbidden Citadel after this, as that would be fantastic. Anyway, I don't... Oh, where did Sigvald go? Oh, Sigvald, you little coward. You are being very annoying right now. He's gonna keep running, isn't he? I really don't want to chase him around with Stochel for 8 years. Alright, we'll give him a couple more turns. I was hoping to grab this island, because who knows what's in there, but nonetheless. At least our money is returning to decent position. I mean, we can handle minus 2k per turn. We handled similar sorts of situations for basically the entire campaign, after all. You are going to... not suffer any more attrition. Let's do this. We'll take the Silver Tower, it's a tier 3. Even if they retake the Fortress of the Damned, it doesn't really matter all that much, as long as we take out their main settlements. Alright. That way they will lose their money either way, and won't be able to upkeep a bunch of stuff. What is this, incidentally? Cloak of Alea. Oh, Grimrindle's actually right beside one of his quest fights. You know what, I think we'll do this, but we'll probably save it for next turn. Or next episode, rather. In fact, we could do it at the start of next episode, and then move to Frozen Landing, and then hit Narcissum Portal Pleasurer, and then hunt down the other champions of the Dark Gods. That's the plan, folks, that's the plan, but I'm gonna have to call it here. We've had our battles, several of them. Ungrim will have more next episode as well, as he continues causing absolute havoc. And hopefully Malakai hunts down Grimgor. I'm hoping that he's still there, and we may want to send a hero out there just to scout the place out, while we also get King Lund set up with his army. Still haven't decided what we're gonna put with the regular hammerers, though. What do we combine them with? Could do some allegiance stuff with them just as well. The thing is that lords don't actually buff hammers with their unique line. They buff dwarf warriors and longbeards, though hack and slash does buff them, which means more weapon strength for the hammerers. We will have 3 thanes in here, and wait. So assuming that all this is gone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, meaning we're down to 8 units. Plus the Peak Gate Guard 9, plus another hammer 10, plus 3 thanes, 13, plus probably a runesmith 14, meaning we have 6 units left to play around with. We could pop some artillery in there, we could do something with allegiance, which will give us 4 extra units. Certainly something. But King Alana is our hammer leader, and he will remain as such. But yeah, I was originally going to combine the hammers potentially with the Grudge Rakers, but I really like the idea of Thunderers regular and Thunderers Grudge Rakers, and maybe a few Slayer Pirates in an all sort of gun army, because we haven't done that sort of thing as yet. Anyway, I'm rambling. I love to sort of theory craft new armies. It's always very fun to try them out. We'll do more of that as we go. Stay tuned for more Malakai, and don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.